event. The atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
Jimmy Butler has spread his cancer all over the Heat, and he has ruined their season. I do believe they'll never recover from this disastrous guy that is, purged on him. I mean, he's ruined. Like, they don't matter anymore at all. Like, I watched them play last night. They suck.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
You know, they have a lot of hopes, and they thought last year they were turning the corner. Even early this year, they start turning the corner, and then you lose 13 games in a row.
Edmonton chipped away, got a late goal, won the game 4-3. I felt like they dominated the third period. They moved the puck on that power play. It was an exceptional hockey game. It went over the total.
Only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The suppliers, the hustlers, the people, the busters, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. The Wicked Wednesday has begun. It's the calm before the storm. Less than 24 hours from now, we'll be dropping the puck, the Four Nations face-off, and it'll almost be an exhale when it's actually done, one way or the other. This tournament has lived up to the hype as far as intensity is concerned, and I don't know how much more intense it could get than it was Saturday night in Montreal, but this time it actually matters. This time a championship is on the line. We'll break it down this evening. We'll get you caught up to date with the news of the tournament, the odds, and the MVP odds, the goal-scoring odds, and everything else in between. But we do have basketball tonight. The NBA is back. I guess we'll start off with the association here. The NBA is back sort of tonight. They're not really supposed to be back, but I guess this is a makeup game from the Fires in Los Angeles. You've got Charlotte and the Los Angeles Lakers tonight. You know, not exactly the easiest game to bet on. You got a 13.5 point spread right now in this game. It's a lot of points to be laying. Now, you figure the Lakers should smoke them. Thing is, the Charlotte Hornets, as bad as they are, they're one of the bad type of teams that cover a lot of point spreads. Right, they're 13 and 39. Right? So it's like, wow, it sounds pretty bad when you say that out loud. They're 13 and 39 outright. Man, these guys have played 52 games this year, and they've only won 13 of them. But they're 27, 23, and 2 against the spread. That's not easy to do, right? There's not a lot of teams in the NBA actually that are in the plus money ATS wise. The Lakers are one of them as well. You know, it's funny. The Lakers get criticized a lot. I don't really know what people expect for the Lakers. The Lakers are having a pretty good year. I mean, they're 32 and 20. They're 28, 23, and 1 against the spread. So that's why it's kind of tricky because Charlotte do cover numbers, right? They lose all the time, but they seem to lose by like 8 and 10 type deal. They don't get lit up, right? It's not like Charlotte's one of these teams that loses by 42 every night or anything like that. If they did, they wouldn't be 27. 23 and 2 against the spread. But the thing with the Lakers is the Lakers do smash bad teams often, right? They've done it. They lit up Utah when they played last week, but then ended up losing again after when they played again. So it's like I said, it's a tricky game tonight. I can tell you the history between these two teams. It's interesting, as we stated, like Charlotte always lose all the time. The Lakers are 8-2 straight up the last 10 times these two teams have played. They're also 2-7-1 against the spread. They don't cover, right, when they play Charlotte. So for whatever it's worth, the trend, the history, my gut feel tells me that the Charlotte Hornets actually cover this number tonight because you know the world is going to be on the Lakers. It's the only NBA game. People are going to jump in. You got Luka Doncic playing, right? So there's going to be – no one's taking Charlotte here. So to me, it's kind of like, it's the old, right, you take Charlotte, don't watch the game, and hope for the best. Except I guess we will watch the game, depending on what college basketball games we can get. But it is one of these type of games. All right, speaking of college basketball, we got a pretty good one in the Mountain West, and I'm clicking around, and I don't get that game, and I wasn't expecting to get that game on television. I do get the NBA game. College basketball, big-time game in a Mountain West tonight with the Lobos and the Broncos. Boise State hosting the New Mexico Lobos. Listen, the Lobos are having a great year this year. The Mountain West is a pretty solid basketball conference, except UNLV. We'll take UNLV out of the equation. I remember years ago, I forget which coach it was. I think it was Steve I don't know if it was Steve Alford. No, I think it was Alford that said he liked it there. Remember one of the coaches in the Mountain West said, I don't really understand why the Mountain West tournament is in Las Vegas every year. And I think Steve Alford was the one that said, he goes, it's just fine. They never win anyways, right? It was kind of a low blow, but it's, it's true. Like UNLV. When's the last time UNLV had been relevant in basketball? Boise State are better at basketball than people talk about their football team, but they're pretty consistent with their basketball program. Like, they win 22 games a year type of deal. They're good, not great. It's not an easy place to play, obviously, when you go up there. They're 11-1 straight up on their home court. Yet, this is just me, but I get the feeling that this is a close basketball game. Give me the Lobos plus the points tonight. They're getting 4.5. I bought it up to an even 5. So I've got 5 points with this game with the underdog. We're talking about a 22-4 basketball team with New Mexico. What I like about the Lobos, right, when you think of the Lobos, the first thing that comes to mind is the pit and their home court advantage that they have. And while it's true, they're 14-1 on their home court this year. They do have a dominant home court. The fact of the matter is New Mexico are a good road team. 6-2 on the road straight up this year. They've won 6 of their 8 road games. New Mexico. Not intimidated by going on the road. I think they'll be able to handle this. Speaking of the histories, we were talking about the history between Charlotte and the Lakers. The history hasn't been kind to Boise, ATS-wise, in this rivalry either. Just 3-6-1 against the spread the last 10 times that they played. They did play earlier this year, and New Mexico absolutely murdered them. It was 84-65. So there's two ways, in this college basketball world, there's always two ways of looking at it, right? They play each other twice on each home court. It's like, all right, New Mexico smashed them when they played at home. Now they're going on the road. Is it Boise State's turn to smash them? Or is it, New Mexico are just better than they are, and they beat them 84-65. I think it's a close game. I think Boise could win. They could win by 3. They could win by 4, 5 type of deal. But I think this game comes down to the wire tonight. Total 152.5. Nothing screamed off the page at me as far as the total was concerned. So we just played the Lobos. We got Rutgers. Rutgers are in Seattle to take on the Huskies, the Washington Huskies and Rutgers. 2 very evenly matched basketball teams. I would say Rutgers are the bigger disappointment this year. Rutgers have big-time players. Rutgers never have big-time players, and they were good. Suddenly they have dudes that are good enough to go to the NBA, and they're not good, right? They're 12-14 straight up. They've been burning money. They're 11-14-1 against the spread. Speaking of home and road dichotomies with college basketball, Rutgers have always been right at the top of that list as well. Very difficult place to play up there in Piscataway at the Rack. But Rutgers have never been a good road team. And Rutgers are just 2-6 straight up. They've only won 2 road games this year. They've lost 6. Now you're going to the West Coast to take on Washington. Listen, Washington aren't great, and you figure Washington would have a better home court advantage than they do, but they're not really a great team. So they're 9-6 on their home court. One thing with Washington is, though, Washington seemingly play better against better teams. They're one of those weird teams, right? Like they'll lose to Portland State or something like that, right? But then they'll step up and they'll take UCLA to the break, right? They'll beat Minnesota, right? They're not terrible, Washington. They're not good. They're not terrible. But the thing is, Rutgers they've been losing games. You look at the Washington Huskies. The Huskies are they win one, they lose one, they win one, they lose one, they lose, they win. They're sort of going back and forth. Rutgers are just sort of losing. Rutgers have lost 3 straight. They've lost 4 of their last 5 basketball games. The season has completely slipped away from them. Give me the Washington Huskies on the money line. So let's go with the Lobos plus the points. The Huskies on the money line. And the Mark Lawrence Hold Your Breath special. The Charlotte Hornets. Let's roll.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. Let's do this thing. I know everybody's super excited. The NBA is back tonight. We got LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers and Luka Doncic. It feels weird. Feels weird to say that. And Luka. Am I insane, or do I not see Luka on the floor? Oh, there he is. I'm not used to it. I'm really having a problem with this. What is Luka doing in a Laker jersey? He doesn't even look like Luka anymore. He's wearing He's wearing white tights. He's wearing that white spandex stuff under his shorts. And he's got a white sleeve on. He's completely covered up. I think he's trying to limit the body fat a little bit. Right? That's the whole thing. Oh, he's fat. He's out of shape and stuff. You show up in like white spandex. It's just
NBA Spanx.
Everything's like tight in. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm not fat. I'm not chunky. It's a big debate because the Mavericks were like, this guy weighs 270 pounds, all right? He's not in shape. So that was their thing. Nevertheless, he's pretty good, even if he isn't in shape. 10-6 Lakers. Probably.
You can't see it.
I don't know. Like he's everywhere else. I mean, I don't know. They're going to stop the game for Kenny and Shaq right now again, and Barkley. That was the stupidest thing ever. Yeah, I like those guys, but that was the dumbest thing ever.
First
but we
couple
got the
games
Four
were
Nations.
decent.
You know, you're bang on, Brady. Everybody like ripped the whole thing, and I didn't. Like I watched it, and same thing. Like the Rising Star stuff on Friday was really good. Like they went at it hard. Like they had a G League team. Like it was like they were playing hard. The NBA, like people were like, "Oh, the NBA All-Star game was terrible." It wasn't bad when they played. They just never played. They'd play for like, hey, let's take a mid-quarter break and bring Kevin Hart out to talk for 10 minutes. It's like,
I think
what is this,
Joe
a Capital
Ranieri
One card commercial? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's going on? Like,
Joe Ranieri and
it was always sponsored, Cam. It was like a live thing, and this is brought to you by, Denny's and like, it was like, guys, like, what are we doing here? Like,
the best was you. And remember the college game? You're like, who cares? Look at this guy. He's the Capital One guy. He's like in a couple commercials, that average looking like white dude guy. I'm like, nobody cares, bro. He was the best. You're like, ooh, it's the Capital One guy. I get it. We need sponsors. But yeah, have they gone too far? The answer is yes. Way too far.
But the game itself wasn't bad. But just quick, like I said, the Lakers are off and running here. It's 10-6. But, Charlotte could get lit up. They are actually 27-23 against the spread. But, Brady, I was going to say, being a golf guy, there's something to it. Like, and you see it with golf. I mean, it just comes out, man. Right? The President's Cup doesn't really have the quite the same. I know they want it to, but like the Ryder Cup, like it gets serious. I thought of you actually coming on tonight with the Four Nations. Golf isn't known for its heated rivalries like that. But when you get like that Ryder Cup, Europe versus USA stuff, you see how intense it is. And you see the same thing when you get like international hockey, like USA and Canada right now. It used to be Canada and Russia was the big rival, but now it's USA and Canada. You can't top that passion. You see the same thing in golf.
Yeah, and you can't recreate it. I mean, the Ryder Cup's been going on for decades, and it's just always been there. It's now inherent. It's innate. And
it has to be organic. Great point. You can't force it. Yeah.
And I feel like the President's Cup is kind of trying to force it. Now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, maybe the President's Cup will be a heated rivalry. It could be, but it's still very young. I mean, how long has the President's Cup been around? How many President's Cups have they played? A dozen? They've played, 70 Ryder Cups or something like that? I mean, I don't know, but and that was the OG, right? That was the original. This is an offshoot of that. So it's going to take time for that type of thing to develop. But yeah, and then you got the majors in golf, the Masters, the Players Championship is kind of that other one that's trying to get into that, that club. But it's not quite there. There are other golf. I mean, I would say the Genesis Invitational, not only this last week, but when it's typically at Riviera, that almost feels as big, if not bigger, than the Players' Championship. It's certainly right there. But the majors are a whole nother level. And it's kind of like what you're saying. Any other hockey game we try to put together other than an international face-off, it doesn't have the same pizzazz.
And also, I see people are saying, oh, you need to do this every year and replace the All-Star game. No, then it's no good. You know what I mean? Then it doesn't matter. Yeah. Right? Like if they knew, oh, whatever, we lost this year, don't worry about it. We're playing again next year. Like it would be like whatever.
It started off great, and then progressively, it's like, yeah, whatever. Like when it first
came out, it needs to be special.
Yes,
right.
Correct.
So I think the NHL was on to something where they've actually done pretty wisely, where they said, all right, no, we're not doing this again until 2028. They're playing in the Olympics next year, so then let's let you'll have an exhale in the Olympics. The Olympics will be good too because the gold medal is on the line.
That's another thing. the golf was pretty darn intense in the Olympics last year.
Exactly.
Coming back out of nowhere, that was insane. Tommy
great.
Fleetwood and John Rahm, Rahm blows it down the stretch. That was some high intensity golf right there.
And in the exact same thing
as the international flavor.
As the WBC, Brady, it's bang on. The same thing with the World Baseball Classic.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking about last night, like Trey Turner hit a home run. I remember one of the games to I think it was the one that sent him to the final. And they said, "Oh, you won a World Series, you hit a home run." I think it was the MVP or whatever, right? And he goes, "Yeah, that was the biggest hit I've ever had." They were like, "More than the World Series?" He goes, "Yeah, that was more intense." Like he goes, that was serious out there, right? Like, and remember, same thing with the gold medals. It's like winning a major, right? It's the feather in the cap. It's that extra.
Scotty Scheffler was crying on the podium.
It's national pride. It's the bottom line is national pride. You're playing for your country, not just yourself anymore. And I watched the ladies Solheim Cup, and they're going at it. Like these girls want to, they want to dance. Like, you know what I mean, Brady? That's the whole thing. When you bring something nationality versus nationality, that's the whole thing because you're playing for your country, yourself,
well, it's
and
also
your teammates from your country. It's a big deal.
And on top of it, though, it's the best versus best thing.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right? You win a golf tournament, whatever, there's 100 stiffs there. There's 15 good guys. You just won a gold medal against the best of the best.
Yep.
Right? It's a different, it's like it's your only privilege. You're privileged to be in that situation to begin with by being one of the best. Yeah. And you beat the best.
Well played.
Right? That's like the whole thing. Like beating the best of the best. Which we're going to find out tomorrow. I don't know if the Mexico Open is the best of the best.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. Brady Cannon in the house. Cam Stewart with us. Paul Bovey's going to step up and in. We got Ian Cameron. We're going to cover, we got the Mexico Open picks coming up. We got live college basketball, Four Nations Cup talk and more. Speaking of college basketball, Bama coming off that loss over the weekend to Auburn, getting lit up right now, 61-48. The total for this game was 171.5. And it seems high, but just like the Auburn total was like 172.5, the Alabama Auburn total was the same thing. It went over the number. In-game total right now for Bama and Mizzou is 200. It's 200.5 right now, 61-51. Dear God, 61-51. Bama are coming back a bit. 61-51. There's still 18.5 minutes left in the second half. They're already at 111 points. Pretty wild. Like, as crazy as it sounds, guys, I don't think, like, they could top 200 here easily. Like, they probably will, to be honest with you. Like, Mizzou are already at 60. They're going to get to 100, and Bama aren't going to go away in this game. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it went over. We'll keep our eye on the in-game. Games that just started, as we discussed. You got Rutgers and Washington. It hasn't started yet. I'm on the Washington Huskies on the money line. And we got New Mexico and Boise State has started. Some Mountain West action. We're on the Lobos plus that 5 points. They're winning right now 15-11, so it's early. Total 150.5. Boise laying 2.5. So I said the Mexico Open on the way out. Not the best on best, but Brady thinks there's a lot of quote-unquote, like the NBA All-Star Weekend, rising stars in this tournament. So you look at the field, and a lot of the big names are not there, but there's some quality players here, and you're getting great value actually from a betting perspective with so many of these players. Batia is the favorite at 13-1. Højgaard's 15-1. Kitayama's 24-1. Jagerbomb 25-1. Sam Stevens 27. Patrick Rogers 27. Michael Kim 27. Taylor Moore 30. Aaron Rye 32. Harry Hall 37-1. What do you think of the field here, Brady?
I think it's going to be exciting. Yeah, I really do think it is kind of a rising stars showcase. A lot of these guys that just graduated from the Korn Ferry Tour, guys that are making their way over from the DP World Tour, spending some time on the PGA Tour, some PGA Tour journeymen, that are still searching for their first win or maybe only have one win to their credit. It's actually a pretty decent field. And I really think it lends itself into possibly a triple-digit winner here. I've got 7 guys on my card this week. The shortest one I took was 26-1 in Sam Stevens. He's been playing really well right now. And after that, I'm basically at 40-1 or bigger with, guys for different reasons. They play good at this type of course or whatever, but it's not a lot of household names. And I think that's probably who you're going to see win this thing. And that just might be the next Jake Knapp, who won this thing last year, who's turned himself into a pretty darn good player and a regular on the PGA Tour. So that's the other thing too. You might find 10 guys at the end of this golf tournament and go, wow, here's 10 guys that are going to be on my radar for the next couple of years on the PGA Tour that I'm going to find them at a good tournament at the right time in the right place. I'm going to bet on.
Who's one of the younger players that you're highlighting here, actually? So a case in point, who's like one of these young guns that are in this tournament that you think has a shot to make some noise?
Well, some of the guys from the European Tour, and Cam knows these guys. Antoine Rosner, the Frenchman, is a good player who's had great success on golf courses of this type. Nicolai Højgaard, Rasmus Højgaard is one of the favorites. I don't really like him in that role, but I think his twin brother, Nicolai, is actually a better bet this week. Some of the graduates of the Korn Ferry Tour, you've got Ricky Castillo, the Florida Gator, has had a lot of success on the Korn Ferry Tour. He's in the neighborhood of 100-1. Some people really like him this week. Potgieter, from South Africa, this young kid literally hits it a mile. He leads the PGA Tour in driving distance. Yeah, Chris Gotterup, another guy that won at Myrtle Beach, his first PGA Tour victory last year. So, yeah, a lot of these guys that people are high on this week, and I'm not necessarily going down that road just because they're a hot name and they've had success in the minor leagues, I don't think they're going to necessarily go win this week in the major leagues. But again, keep an eye out for these guys. Ludwig Aberg and Will Zalatoris, they all came up through these same ranks and eventually got their PGA Tour victory a year or two later. Some of these guys are going to go along that path, in my opinion.
Normally, Brady, we talk about who the most heavily bet players are, but that's, when we have the Scotty Schefflers of the world and stuff, I don't know if there's a liability for the books in this tournament. We'll find out on the other side.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're gonna go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's gonna help me get the job done. There is not gonna be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. The great Brady Cannon in the house with us. We got the Mexico Open. Countdown to the Masters is on right around the corner. Sort of the calm before the storm right now. You know, it's been a quieter week. NHL is off. NBA has been off. NBA is back at the Four Nations. But college basketball, the regular season's winding down. We're a couple of weeks away from conference tournaments, Selection Sunday, into March Madness, and the same day that the Thursday and Friday, so not the opening Tuesday in Dayton and Wednesday, but the Thursday and Friday of March Madness is the 18th and 19th, which happens to be the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs Major League Baseball regular season opener on the 18th and 19th, in the overnight hours from Tokyo. So, and then we got the Masters after, right? So baseball season starts like March 27th. Everybody else starts after the Dodgers and Cubs a week later, which leads us into the Masters. So big-time golf is around the corner. So the Mexico Open, Brady, who you looking at? Who should people be betting on this week?
Well, first of all, our friend, you mentioned Paul Bovey, going to be on the program, lives not too far away here, his place in Mexico from Vedanta Vallarta, where they're playing the Mexico Open here this week. I wonder if he's going to be out there watching. Yeah, tomorrow
Paul
marks
Bovey owns
50
more
days.
property than Justin Bieber. This guy's got and Drake. He's got a place everywhere.
50 days till they tee it up at the Masters. That is the mark where we're at tomorrow. This is kind of the bridge.
Wow.
The bridge between the West Coast swing and then we start the Florida swing. And then, yeah, it's the countdown to the Masters. Now, you asked where the liability is. Highest ticket count at BetMGM is on Akshay Bhatia. And he's arguably the most talented player in the field. I get it. But has Akshay Bhatia ever been 12-1, 14-1 to win a golf? No, he's never been the best player in the field before. He's never had this expectation. Second highest ticket count, Nikolai Højgaard. Third highest ticket count, Patrick Rogers, and those three players are also your three biggest liabilities at BetMGM. I did not land on any of those guys. I mentioned I landed on Sam Stevens, been playing really, really well as of late. Kevin Yu at 35-1. I landed on him correctly back in October when he won the Sanderson Farms Championship. And I think that golf course is really correlated to this one here in Mexico. So took a stab with him. Alex Smalley at 42-1. He's one of the better players in this field too. Kind of more of a journeyman, better than average tour player, but now in a watered down field, he kind of sticks out. And at better than 40-1, I landed on him. CT Pan at 60-1 was third here in Mexico last year. Lanto Griffin, this is a guy that really jumped out at me. He has done especially well on all the correlated courses, all the courses that I think connect to Mexico and indicate possible success here. Lanto Griffin has never missed a cut at any of those. So I like him at 80-1. I've seen him a little higher. I've seen him a little lower. And then one bomber for you, a couple of triple-digit odds guys. Hayden Springer at 120-1, and then Joel Damon at 125-1. Got his one and only PGA Tour victory at another coastal course, all past Palom grass, all that good stuff, at Corrales, Punta Cana. So we'll see if history can repeat itself there with Joel Damon. A 7-pack for you guys this week. And by the way, hey, thanks to Keith Stewart and Cam Stewart, the Stewart brothers tipped me on Oberg. Congratulations to you guys. We were all on Ludwig Oberg last week at the Genesis Invitational.
Appreciate it. And you've got some matchup plays as well?
Yeah, I was talking about Ricky Castillo as an up-and-comer. I'm going to go with the old veteran, Lanto Griffin, kind of a journeyman who's played very well at times. Like I say, his wheelhouse has been on all the correlated courses that match up with Mexico. I think he's going to have a good week. Now, Castillo, I think, is a star in the making, but I'm not ready to just jump on him just yet. Premature tipulation here. I'm going to go with Griffin. I think he's the horse for this matchup here. And then I mentioned Antoine Rosner. He's had a couple of wins in his career on past Palom grass. So it's a French versus French. Antoine Rosner, I took over Victor Perez.
Cam, what do you got for the Mexico Open?
Gabe, I agree with you on Michael Kim. I think he's so close to winning. And Brady, I bet on Sam Stevens too. I don't have him on my board, but I think my price was low, but I found him on another book that had a boost, which was very important to me because they got him up to like 25 or whatever. Sam Stevens is going to win a golf tournament, and it could be this week. Gabe, I took usually don't go for back-to-back guys, but I have Jake Afternoon Nap. What is the success at this course? Take a look at guys who've won. John Rahm, total driving. I'll give you my board right now. By the way, I know I should have told the guy specifically. My 5th pick is actually Michael Thior Bjornsson, not Thorbjorn Olesen. That's the whole thing. I got to be more specific now because there's so many damn Thunder Bears out there. But give me Jager bombs, Dave. 32 Jager bombs for me and Morency after the Eagles win the Super Bowl. Michael Kim, Jake Afternoon Nap, and I'm going with Matt Wallace. And Gabe, I have another one that I've added for you. Our old friend, Chris Ventura, golf detective, your buddy, Chris Ventura. Shout out to old SportsGrid employee. I'm going to take a shot at him at 90-1. I think this is the type of tournament where a guy Brady talked about could come out of nowhere. Batia for a top 10, Højgaard for a top 10, Kitayama. I don't want Batia to win. I'll just take him almost 2-1 for a top 10. As I told you, Sam Stevens, Brady got him for a top 20 and a top 10. Michael Kim, top 10 and top 20. And Chris Ventura, golf detective, top 40 plus 105. That one's for you, Morency, because I know you and Ventura were boys. I love it. Chris Ventura, golf detective. That's right.
Chris Ventura, not a lot of people know, Cam, you probably do, but a part of that wicked golf team at Oklahoma State with Matthew Wolff and Victor Hovland. He's kind of the forgotten guy. I mean, think about how good that team was. No, this guy's a player for sure.
Gabe, I'm watching this guy. He had a T4 this year. Nobody's talking about him. He's supposed to be a phenom. And this is the type of event when all the big guys are out, he might sneak up on you. I'm not going to say he's going to win, but for like a top 20, 30 or whatever, and don't be surprised if you see Christopher Ventura on the top of the leaderboard on Sunday. This could be the tournament where he makes a name for himself.
He's another one of those guys, Gabe, that we're talking about. There's a lot of names like this in this field this week that are possible stars, in the next few years that could all of a sudden get their first win this week. For that reason, I think this tournament's exciting, and for that reason, I think this tournament will be very competitive.
One name you guys didn't bring up, and maybe rightfully so, but it's for me, it's just, you know what? It just sort of, jumps off the screen at me that I'm like, maybe I'll take a shot with him to be top 20 here and maybe a little 80-1. Ben Silverman, 80-1. That's just like my my two gut picks were basically Michael Kim and Ben Silverman.
Let me tell you, Gabe, something about Ben Silverman, and Brady will tell you. Watch out. When we go to the Florida Swing, Silverman went to an East Coast school. He's a very underrated ball striker and putter. I'm not sure how he's going to play on Mexico in these surfaces, but keep that name in your head. Ben Silverman is very underrated. And if you look at leaderboards and stuff, Brady, he makes cuts and stuff. Like Silverman has been there before. And they treat him like, I see him at 150 to 1, 200 to 1 in some tournaments when Scheffler's involved. He's not a bad golfer. He's actually really, really good, Gabe, and Canadian.
I like the Kim pick. Kim is. I've seen some sharp people on Michael Kim this week. There's a lot of guys like that. I'm talking about 35 to 1, 45 to 1, 80 to 1 that are very good golfers. Any of them could win this week. Michael Kim, I think, has got a good shot.
You're right. I'm surprised. I'm seeing even Schmidt here is 90 to 1.
Yeah, he's a good
pretty
player
good odds
too.
considering the
field. He's another one of those European guys, right? I mean, this field is littered with that type of player.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Lando Griffin earlier in a head-to-head matchup. He's 90 to 1. 90 to 1 to win the tournament. Brady Cannon in the house. All right, Brady, you always say when it comes to hockey, you just follow sharp people that know what they're doing. So me and Cam are telling you now, bet on Canada tomorrow. There's the advice.
I tell you what, I kind of lean that way. I think they're more talented. I think they're the better team. It's on U.S. soil, right? Is it in Boston?
Yep.
It is in Boston, but I don't know if that's an advantage, to be honest. I think it's almost
Canada.
a disadvantage.
I'm with you guys.
Yeah, join the club, Brady.
They dropped the puck.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Wicked Wednesday continues. This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network. Thanks to Brady Cannon for joining us on the program. NBA basketball is back tonight. Just one game. It wasn't scheduled to be back, but it's a makeup game from the Fires in Los Angeles. The Hornets and the Lakers. Did we love the game? No. But it was the only NBA game of the night, and we're here. We're watching it. We went over the trends here. And like we said, Charlotte, they're 13-39, but they're actually 27-23 against the spread. They do cover numbers. They don't get lit up, but the Lakers do smash bad teams. So it was a tough game to bet on tonight. For the record, it's sort of going back and forth. The Lakers are shooting the three ball pretty well as of right now. It seems like every shot they take is going in, but it is 39-33 right now. So post NFL, Paul Bovey needed some time to regroup after the Super Bowl to get ready for the NBA stretch drive. Paul Bovey steps up in it. What's going on, Paul? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I stuck my toe in the water here on this Laker game. I went under the 230.5. Charlotte has not eclipsed 110 points in 9 out of the last 11 games. And I noted that they missed 15 of 17 three-point attempts in the first quarter. 17 three-point shots in the first quarter. Wow.
It has been a three-ball fest. I'm watching the game. Seems like the Lakers are streaky, but they've hit a couple of threes here right now. But you're on pace, Paul. The in-game total right now is 222.5 for the record. So 39-33, point spread 12.5, 222.5. The Super Bowl is done, but we haven't spoken since, so we're not going to go over the football game itself. But when it was all said and done, how good or bad of a Super Bowl was it for you, Paul, when it was all said and done?
Well, I was locked in on Worthy. Best receiver, plus 450, overs at 55.5. That all worked out. A couple things did not work out. I want to say I had a great Super Bowl. It was profitable, but I can't. It was a ROI of about 10%. And I was fortunate in that I got off on Philadelphia Live at minus $1.14. I thought it was size. It was 5 figures, and I thought I'd come back with the Chiefs. And I just never got the feeling that they were going to be competitive, and they weren't. So that worked out for me, but a couple things just did not. We're on to NBA, and hopefully I'll do better in the Super Bowl next year because, honestly, given the time that I put into the game, 10% ROI is in my book a fail.
Paul Bovey in the house. Nothing but transparency. We're one of the best in the business, Paul Bovey. So, well, we've all been in football mode and Four Nations mode. The NBA is coming back after the All-Star weekend. We got the game going on right now. Just a quick check-in right now for people tuning in. The top teams against the spread this year. The Memphis Grizzlies are 35-19 ATS on the season. They've covered 64.8% of their games. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been money this year, 35-19 ATS, also 64.8%. Oklahoma City, 32-19-4 ATS. They've covered 62.8% of their games. The Toronto Raptors. The Raptors were competitive earlier in the year and were losing games. Now they actually win games. When they're healthy, the Raptors aren't bad. Like, you know, they're starting to turn the corner right now, but people don't notice it, so they're still covering numbers. The Raptors are a very robust 32-22-1 against the spread. They've covered 59.3% of their games. The LA Clippers, we've talked a lot about the Clippers this year. The Clippers have been a good ATS team this year as well. 32-22 against the spread, 59% cover rate. The Blazers went on that hot run before the All-Star break, before they cooled off a little bit. They're 31-23-1 against the spread. The Lakers are 28-23-1. Then you look at the bottom here, the biggest money burners in the league. The Phoenix Suns have only covered 35.9% of their games this year, 19-34-1 ATS. Philadelphia 76ers, also money burners, have also only covered 36% of their games this year. Sacramento have been bad ATS this year. They're 19-32-4, 37.3%. Miami have only covered 40% of their games. New Orleans have covered 40% of their games. Boston have only covered 42.6%. So let's start off with Boston, Paul. Defending champions, how do you feel about them this year moving forward? Like, not betting on them in the next games, but in the big picture, are Boston just sort of going through the motions and ready to dial it up once they get to the playoffs, in your opinion? Or is this not the same Boston team as last year?
Well, let's reflect back on last year, because they did have some struggles in the playoffs leading up to that 5-game victory over the Mavs. And Cleveland did not have their best players in the lineup. Donovan Mitchell was out. Jared Allen was out. They put them away. Yes, they did. They had some difficulties along the way, and they rely on the three-point shot. Will they get by Cleveland? These teams played 3 games this year. They were ultra competitive, and then Cleveland makes an acquisition of Hunter to try to get some coverage on Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, because that's what they're going to need. They're going to need to lock these guys down. I think that trade gives them an advantage over the Celtics. Boston, they hit their three-point shots. They got a good chance to win. They don't, and likely they're going to fail. So everything hinges on their accuracy from beyond the arc. But I think right now, with that acquisition of Hunter, that Cleveland has an advantage.
And put it this way, guys, from a betting perspective, it's it's impossible. Like, put it this, the Boston Celtics are plus 210 right now to win the NBA championship.
Crazy.
Like, that's shorter prices than the LA Dodgers are at plus 250 to win the World Series, which is insane. That's unbettable. And then you got the Oklahoma City Thunder at plus 225. We get Paul's take on the Thunder. If they're legitimate championship material, I'm not betting at a plus 225.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start, so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We're talking NBA basketball right now with Paul Bovey, and Cameron will join us later. We'll go to the Four Nations. We haven't really hit that much tonight. I've got some thoughts, picks, props, sides, totals, and everything else in between. Oklahoma City Thunder plus 225, and also very, very short price. Listen, I'm a big SGA fan. I do believe in the Thunder, but at the same point in time, these teams have to they have to prove it in the playoffs. and beat players. Like older players are tougher to beat in these shorter series than they are in the regular season, right? So there's a few like veteran teams I'm not really ready to write off yet. I sort of see one that kind of, I think, you know what? These guys are going to be a tough team to deal with in the playoffs, and you're getting a good number. But you got Oklahoma City at plus 225. What are your thoughts on the Thunder, Paul? Are you buying or selling the Thunder or NBA Finals material?
Look, they compiled that 44-10 record, same as the Cavs, and they did it for the most part without Chet Holmgren. Now, they've been relying on Isaiah Hartenstein to take down these rebounds, and he's over 11 per game. Now you introduce Holmgren back into the lineup. He blocks approximately one shot every 12 and a half minutes. They're going to be that much tougher. And he also rebounds to the tune of 8 per game. I don't think the Thunder can be derailed from the Western Conference Championship unless they suffer some sort of an injury. Because right now, they are limited in terms of their minutes. So they're in preservation mode, and they're not going to be heavily taxed in terms of minutes when they go into the playoffs. There's only 2 playing exceeding 30 minutes a game, and that's Jalen and Shea. And they play 9 players log more than 19 and a half minutes a game. So that's the way you want to do it. You've got a 12-man rotation there, and you've got talent, you've got youth, and I don't think anybody can beat them. Would I play it at plus 225 to win the championship game? Here, there's absolutely no value. That's not something you can play. You're better off rolling your money over from series to series, and you're not going to do any worse than that. So if you like the Thunder to win it all, just sit back and just wait for the playoffs.
Yeah, hypothetically, I'm just saying, let's say the Thunder play the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals. You're still going to get plus money with the Thunder in the Finals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be like plus 125 or plus 140. Well, we'll see. We'll see at the time. But no, you're right. I guess, look, they're sort of similarly odded here right now. The Thunder deserve the respect. It's driven by SGA as well, who should be the MVP. But just from the betting perspective, like you said, like they're not going to be massive favorites against teams and when they get to the conference finals, etc. The Cleveland Cavaliers, this is where the value starts to sort of, you could say, all right, you know what I mean? You're getting the real numbers at least now. The Cavs are 8-1. Your Knicks are 11-1. The Nuggets are 14-1. Lakers get the hype now, which is pretty crazy with Luka here. They're now 14-1. Memphis are 30-1. Not getting a lot of respect, the Memphis Grizzlies in the future market. The Milwaukee Bucks, that was the team I was going to say. You get Lillard, you get Giannis in a playoff series. They're not great defensively, but they won't be fun to play. That's the team that I'm looking at here. That, you know what? That's a pretty big number for a team that has players that have won before. They're not the same team, but the Clippers are 35, and we're not going to talk about the Mavericks. You get the Warriors at 40-1. The Rockets are 55-1. What do you think about the board? Any value, Paul, with anybody?
Well, look, Kawhi Leonard has played 15 games. They're 11-4. So under the guys that he plays all of the games in the playoffs, certainly the Clippers have a puncher's chance at 35-1. They're a 500 team without him. There are other teams that, might have a shot. When you look at the board, the Cavaliers at 8-1, I don't think that's bad value. They're only plus like 240 to win the East. But I would be looking at the no here because I don't think the Celtics are going to prevail this year. I just get the feeling that they're going to get knocked off if they do make it to the finals. And frankly, I would make Oklahoma City a favorite over them right now, given the fact that they would have home court advantage. And I would make them probably $1.25 to $1.30. Celtics have pedigree. I think Oklahoma City has the better team. So you could look at a few of the no's, and there's value there.
All right, we're coming up against it here. For the record, it's 46-37 right now for the Lakers with a minute left in the first half. We got a 9-point game right now.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Missouri now up 86-73 on Alabama. There's still 8 minutes left. Alabama are sort of hanging around, but having a hard time getting over the top. Remember I told you guys that total was 200 before, 200.5. I said they're probably going to get there. I bet the over 171.5. That's obviously going to hit, but the in-game total right now is still 200.5 to be exact. It's 86-73 with 8 minutes left. So they're up to 159 right now. Thing with Alabama is they're kind of reminiscent, although not as smooth, and they don't shoot as well. But watching them play, it is, and Paul, you would remember Westhead and Loyola Marymount. Hank Gathers, rest in peace. One of the funnest teams ever, in which like they had a rule basically you had to shoot within 5 seconds. like not like, ball movement. It was like, you got to shoot. Like, if you don't, you're not going to be on the floor. Like, we want everyone to just fire away here. And they were a good shooting team. Alabama does the same thing. You watch this team play, and it's like, holy crap. Like, they literally just throw the ball up the court and heave up these threes, but they're not very good at it, right? So, I don't know, like, people think, like, they're the number 2 team in the country and stuff. It's like, have you watched them play? Right? It's like, all right, they get more shots off. It's very smart basketball. Like, Nate Oates is smart. It's like, we're going to get more shots off, and we don't have to hit them all because we're going to get a higher percentage. We're going to get more shots off, right? That's kind of the criticism of Luka that upset the Mavericks and upsets his coaches and stuff all the time, is that he walks the ball up the court, and, like, the Mavericks literally had, like, 17 less possessions per game than teams all the time. And it's a problem. Like, you've got to hit, like, all your shots. If the other team, you know what I mean, Paul? You know basketball and the numbers. It's all about volume in the modern era. Like, coaches want to get more shots off. They don't care if they miss, if they get more shots off.
Yeah, well, especially when you have an over also. All you want to do is shoot it already. Shoot it.
Oh, yeah, that goes without saying. That's why I'm talking about it. I bet the over. I love it.
Yeah,
well, that's the one thing. You bet on the over. Yeah, that's the thing. I was betting. I bet on the over of the Auburn-Alabama game the other day, and it sort of hit a wall for a couple of minutes. And I thought to myself, I was watching the game, and I was like, well, I can't get mad at them. It's not like they're not trying. It was like the franticest pace ever. It was like back and forth. but it was just brick, foul, brick. Then they would miss the free throws. Then I got a little upset, but I never panicked because I knew, I was like, trust me, dude, if there's one thing these kids are trying to do, Morency, is score right now. All right. So don't worry. Yeah. Like, they're trying. It's not no guarantee it's going to go in, but they're freaking trying to score. They are fun to watch. Speaking of which, I didn't expect a track meet in Seattle, but it's actually a little higher score. The in-game total is 154.5 right now. Washington are up 21-20 on Rutgers. And we got a close one with Boise, New Mexico, 42-39 right now at the half. High-scoring game, 42-39 at the half. Boise State are up 3 right now. All right, so we're going to get Paul out in a couple minutes. One more segment here with Paul. NBA basketball is back. We were taking a look at some of the futures. Tomorrow night, there's a bunch of games in the association. The Boston Celtics lay 7 on the road at Philadelphia, total 224.5. The Memphis Grizzlies lay 2.5 on the road to the Pacers, total 250.5. The Chicago Bulls are terrible. They're bad. They lost, they were down by 70 the other night before the break to Detroit. The Knicks are laying 12.5 to the Bulls, total 243. Cleveland Cavaliers, 13-point road favorites in Brooklyn, 225.5. Orlando Magic, -1.5 on the road, 222.5 in the ATL against the Hawks. Clippers and Bucks, an interesting game. Bucks, 1-point home favorites, total 225.5. Hornets are playing right now against the Lakers. They're in Denver tomorrow night. Denver are laying 14.5 right now. The number is up, total 227. We talked about the Phoenix Suns being the biggest money burners in the NBA. They're 2-point road favorites at San Antonio, total 236. And the Lakers play on the road tomorrow. They're playing, but they're on the road tomorrow in Portland. They're laying 4 points to the Blazers, total 226.5. Paul, any early leans right now? And should note it's the morning where Paul is. So I guess your schedule is different. Yeah, so I know you've already looked at these games.
I have 3. Okay, so I'm going with Philly over Boston. These teams played 2 competitive games. The Sixers actually won one of them. They prevailed. They had a big fourth quarter. Embiid did not play. I think Philly's lineup will be in full force tomorrow when they hook up. And look, I just looked at these prior 2 games, and it looks like Philly can compete. Now, Paul George was 4 of 15 in one of those games. Obviously, you need more production there. You want Embiid to play more than 15 or 17 minutes. He's only played 17 games this year. And, of course, Maxey has been delivering, but that's too many points on the road for the Celtics. Now, one thing I didn't point out about Boston before, they're 21-5 without Porzingis in the lineup. So Kristaps has not been a difference maker here. In fact, they're worse with him in the lineup. And, of course, he's their main guy in the middle. Now, I also look at this Knicks game, and you got to figure that the Bulls have chucked it. They're going to be tanking. They've gotten blown out in the 3 games since Zach LaVine has been traded. They got next to nothing in return for him, but they did get their number 1 draft pick basically guaranteed at this point. But these 2 teams have played 2 games this year. They've scored 265 and 247, and in the loss, because Chicago did win one of those games, the Knicks had 72 points in the paint. So the number is high, but as far as laying the Knicks, without information as to whether Anunoby is going to play, they are unplayable. They were 26-5 last year with him in the lineup, below 500 with him out of the lineup. He is the key piece defensively. So if he is out, I lean over. If not, I would probably lean Knicks if he is in the lineup. There was one other game, Memphis, Indiana. These teams hooked up once before. Indiana took a 17-point lead in the first quarter, only to be blown out in a game where Memphis took their foot off the gas in the final period. I don't think they can stop them inside. As I recall, they were 33 of 46 inside the paint, 33 of 46 inside 2, 32 of those came inside the paint. Indiana is the worst team defensively in the Eastern Conference. I do like Memphis on the road. I do lean to the over, and I like Memphis's team total over the number.
Excellent breakdowns as always, Paul. You're on top of your game, back on top of the NBA already. We've only got about a minute left, so on the way out, I'll ask you who you like between Manila Central University and Philippine Christian University. Philippine Christian lay 1.5, totals 157.5. And we got Dillman College against Philippine Women's University.
I have been tuned out of my Philippine basketball, I have to admit. Although when I get back to Manila,
This is the Philippines UCal.
I've been sticking to volleyball lately, Philippine volleyball. So
amazing, Paul.
Expanding your horizons. Good stuff. Thanks, Paul.
Later.
Take care, guys.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Let's roll this. It's SportsRage. I am Morency. Thanks to Brady Cannon and Paul Bovey for joining us on the program. Ian Cameron will step up and in whenever he damn pleases. I don't know, like 10, 15, 20 minutes or something like that.
Whatever he damn pleases.
Yeah.
Kind of creeps
Babano
in,
sets his own time. Like, like basically. I got to start like tricking Babano and booking him like an hour in advance and stuff like that. But the thing is, some of our guests have been on so often for so long on the same nights, they don't actually look at the, like, our producers send out the invitations and links, etc., any information needed when guests come on. Rob Vino's another one. Rob's like, oh, I haven't looked at one of those emails in 4 years. He's like, I always come on at 11 the same time. Like, I didn't know. Like,
exactly.
Yeah, no one knows. Like, so, I mean, like, exactly. Babano does not look at the emails. Like, Babano's going to join us at 11:32, I think. Babano's like, oh, I thought it was like, I used to come on 8 years ago at 11:30, so it must still be the same way. Right? But, hey, it is what it is. I sort of expect it now. Babano, if anything, is consistent. He's also consistent in his mic not working at first, too. He always starts talking, and then he's like, he's like,
that's right. Yes.
Yeah, it's never his fault. Well, I didn't have a problem all day. It's like,
Yeah,
he didn't do anything all day.
The best is when I did those other shows, I never seemed to have a problem.
Yeah. It's always on him. It's like, you got to turn your mic on, bro. You hit mute, all right? Like,
I enjoy it,
anyways.
actually. I love his creeping. It's great.
I want our boy Greg's take on this, because the Empire State Building, of course, they actually put green lights up when the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. They do it for everybody. Like, they celebrate championships, other cities' championships for whatever reason. Like I said, the Empire State Building thinks they're like a national, like, we represent America. It's like, your name is the Empire State Building. You represent New York. Like, you shouldn't be, right? But I know Eagle fans like Greg think it's great, right? You guys own New York City. It's like, sure. Yeah, ring the bell, baby. Yeah. Ring the bell. So at least, so let's go to the best of X, because this is actually pretty good with the Empire State Building. The comments were gold. The Empire State Building tweeted out and posted on X, shining in red, white, and blue tonight in support of USA Hockey and the Four Nations Championship. Text Connect to get alerts on our lights. And they're just getting lit up. Like, people don't like them. They're like, first time you've ever been on the home team side. Surprised, if Canada win, are you going to make it red and white? Like, amazing. They're getting, like, really, really, people are like, you idiots, the game's tomorrow, it's not today, right? So, like, it didn't work out well. Like, there was no level of, like, patriotism or like, happiness. It was basically a bunch of New Yorkers telling them off, and a bunch of Canadians telling them to suck it at the same time. But we got a real rivalry here, right? You got Canada, USA. Toronto's always been a wannabe New York. So you got the Empire State Building, and now, Toronto's got the CN Tower, right? Big-ass tower. So now the CN Tower responded to the Empire State Building. They're like tonight and tomorrow night. See, the CN Tower, they're not playing around. 2 nights. Tonight and tomorrow night, the CN Tower will light in red, white at the top of the hour in support of Canada versus the USA. See, this is written by Canadians, just long and unlike necessary. The other one was easy, the Empire State, but we're supporting USA. The Canadian one was all nice and long and polite. It's like, dude, we get it. Just say, all right, go Team Canada. But you got the Battle of Towers going on here right now. There's no line in the sand anymore for this. We put a poll question up about who's going to win this hockey game tomorrow night. If you guys remember, and I can even find the poll question, I had a question up before the tournament started: who is going to win? And the USA won the poll. More people picked. It was close, but it was like 52 to 48% or so that the USA was going to win. So I think some people would think that, is my Twitter feed biased with Team Canada fans? It is, and it wasn't. They picked a USA team to win the damn tournament before it started. But things have changed. We got a poll question up right now we encourage you to participate in at SportsRage on X. Who do you think wins the Four Nations? Nice and simple. Team USA, Hockey Canada. The game is a pick 'em at -110. We've gotten 250 responses already, and it's 64 to 36% right now. Team Canada. people are on Team Canada, 64 to 36% right now.
Surprising. I didn't think it would be that high. Don't you tell me usually when the polls go one way, that's a bad sign, but I don't care. We're sticking by what we're going to say. And I love what you said before. The loser on the other night, we come back to Canada after they lose on Saturday, on Thursday night. I feel good about this game, Gabe. I really do. And I got a couple props for this game as well. So stay tuned. Gabe's got lots of props for the final game. Can't wait.
The Rageaholics have generally been wrong whenever they're on one side for the most part in these polls. But they've been on a little bit of a run as of late.
Nice.
They were on the Eagles. I remember the Rageaholics did pretty good in the NFL playoffs. Although everybody did pretty good in the NFL playoffs this year as far as betting is concerned. But the poll's been pretty good as of late. I think a lot of people would have taken a team that lost. And it's one of those deals where I brought it up too. I can't believe I'm using Ohio State as an example in a positive light, but Ohio State losing to Michigan, it changed them, right? Like they weren't as confident anymore. It changed their attitude. It changed their focus. And then losing that game, what did they do after that? They just smashed everybody that they played, right? Like they were just a dominant football team after that. Oftentimes you see this, right? Teams are better off a loss. You see it in the fighting world all the time. Good. You learn more from losing than winning.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, the Pittsburgh players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. So countdown to puck drop is on. Finally, the championship game. I think everybody's going to be happy when this thing is over. It's been very draining emotionally. It's been very, obviously spirited on and off the ice. There's it's this for real. I tell you one thing. I knew it was going to be competitive. The off ice that has nothing to do with the player stuff. Basically Donald Trump. and the tariffs, and there's the negative talk towards Canada, upset Canadian fans. Otherwise, it just would have been like a hockey tournament, right? So it's sort of, and then Bill Guerin basically embraced it the other day, and in the sense of it's good for hockey, which it is, but it's getting pretty heated. And, to the point now where I think it could be a little cooling off period. It's going to be tough for a lot of these players to get thrown back into the NHL in 48 hours. Like, they're playing on Saturday and stuff. And it's like, oh, yeah, I tried to take this guy's head off the other day, or, oh, I'm his teammate again, or, oh, I don't like this guy anymore. Like, there's going to be a lot of little things here. Austin Matthews, who was never good with the media before, like, was really handled it really wisely, considering he's the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, he's got to be careful what he says, going back to Toronto after, in which he just said, I don't follow politics. I don't know what's going on in the world. Like, I almost believe him too. Basically said, I don't follow that stuff. He goes, people can talk all they want. He goes, I don't follow like the outside world to begin with. I kind of believe him because I don't really pay attention to the world to begin with. He goes, this is about a hockey tournament. This is not like anything different. Hagel was different in his response on Team Canada. Hagel basically said, I don't do group chats with people before games. Like, throwing because the Kachucks decided in a group chat they were going to fight. Hagel said, I don't do things for the cameras or for group chats. I fight for my jersey. And you can tell, like, his serious disdain. But he's on the Tampa Bay Lightning, too. So, I guess he just doesn't like the Panthers to begin with. The level of disdain, though, has been really, really good. I think they will be able to separate it after when they get back to the NHL after. And I think fans will as well. But tomorrow night is going to be insufferable for one fan base. Like, it just is. Like, there's no way around it. I would prefer to be able to go out and drink our sorrows or celebrate the victory one way or the other, like our boy Greg Frank is. I said to Greg, "You gonna be here tomorrow for the game?" He goes, "Oh no, I'm going out for that game." Our boy great. Tommy, Tommy's loyal. Tommy's gonna be in the house tomorrow night. Yeah.
Tommy
Greg's
just cares about the
that
Rochester Americans. That's
true. It's true. Greg hasn't been in the Thursday night rotation. He wants to stress.
Yeah.
He's thinking, I don't want people to think I'm taking the night off just to drink to watch the hockey game. Yeah. Which, if there's ever a game to do it, this is the game to do it. Like, if there was ever like a game, I encourage people, if you're ever going to skip work or do something, this is the game of the century. Until next year, actually. That's the whole thing. As good as this is, they're playing in the Olympics next year, and that'll be intense too because there'll be a gold medal on the line, and it'll be some guy's last crack at this, and there'll be Russia, and Russia will be forced to wear like some jersey with no name on it, but they'll be like the Team IOC or whatever.
Nothing.
No, they still do that to Sabalenka in tennis, man. Like, she plays, and everyone else has their country, and her, it's just like blank. It's like she's from nowhere. She's from.
It's amazing.
No, but that's what the Olympics did last time. They were like, yeah, you can participate, but you're not allowed saying Russia. So your team, I think they were called Team Olympic or whatever the hell they were called. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they're. It'll be the same thing. You can't keep out the Russians in a hockey tournament of the Olympics. Otherwise, like, you're getting into boycott territory and stuff like that. Where, speaking of which, the way things they're going with the world right now, I was thinking about that with the LA Games. There's a big story on ESPN tonight about how the U.S. can't handle the World Cup next year. That basically, with the new policies, you need visas to get into the U.S. from no matter where you are anymore. And it takes 2 years to get a visa minimum. So they're not coming. Like, the World Cup is panicking.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, SportsGrid Radio and Television Network, Sirius XM Channel 159. It's often been debated with sports fans what the best time zone to be in is. I'm pretty experienced in it, at least from like the East Coast, West Coast. And there's no comparison that the West is best. I can't even believe and imagine actually, like, I remember, I'm like, man, I can't believe I actually used to have to wait until like 9 o'clock at night for a game to start and stuff.
Yes.
Right? Like, games start on the West Coast, like 4 o'clock daily, essentially. College basketball, 6:30 Eastern sometimes, 6 o'clock Eastern. It's like 3 in the afternoon. The only downfall is it's cool. And, you get you can do things after if you want. And, the games are over at a reasonable time. But the one downside is a lot of big games are very early. And sometimes, like, a good example was the Super Bowl, like this year. The Super Bowl, like on the West Coast, started at 6:30 East Coast, 3:30 Pacific. I got off a plane. I got in at like 1 a.m. type of deal. I woke up in the morning and I was like, I'm not drinking anything. I'm still sick and hungover from Bourbon Street right now. Like, and the game starts in 2 hours. Or like, the Buffalo Bills are playing playoff games a couple of times. It's like 10 in the morning for me. Right? So you wake up. So, you sometimes, unless you're a drunk and you have nothing to do in your life, you can just get wasted. But you lose some of the party times of it.
That's the best. If you're a drunk, it's a
I see people online. I got people. I started drinking.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
O'Neill, what's up, man? Good to see you. But like, Jeff O'Neill talked about. I saw O'Neill talking about that the other day. He goes. He said we did our live hits. We were doing live. He goes, I did a bunch of live hits at the Four Nations on Saturday in Montreal. And he goes, I went out for breakfast at 8 a.m. before I went to the arena. And he goes, I walked into this place, and he goes, everybody was drinking and drunk, and they were all drunk at 8 a.m. And O-Dog said, he goes, you guys know I like to drink and stuff, but he goes, how do you start drinking at 8 a.m. for a game that starts at 8 p.m, right? And then he's
That's
actually
because
funny though, like
you can't stop.
That's what's the significance of the time. Yeah.
Well, that's why you got to pick a right time to start. Exactly. Because there's no turning back once you start.
Yeah.
Even me, I'm like, I'm not starting at 8 in the morning. I'm not starting 12 hours before a game.
It's actually
But
a
it was
very,
funny.
very intricate game. Like you have, like now that we're older, like you got to pick your spot. It's like you go, this is a good time, and it's very, very important. People don't understand. It is. If you want to rip it up, like you have to have a game plan, big time.
And what was funny is he said after too, he goes later in the day we were doing a hit in the same place. And he goes, man, they were just abusing me. He goes, all these drunk guys telling me the show sucks. It was actually a pretty funny segment. He's like, he goes, you said that this wouldn't be an intense tournament. And like, he basically said, he goes, man, they were the most annoying drunk people I've ever met in my life. And he was talking about like being at the arena after and seeing the same people and how hammered they were. And Noodles there, the goalie,
Noodles.
He's a straighter guy because he was like, oh, I hate people like that, these stupid loser drunk people. And he's like that's where he sort of was going. He goes, these people have nothing going on in their lives basically, so they get drunk all day and go to hockey games. I'm thinking, yeah, well, that's kind of the NHL fan base, bro, that's paying your salary right now. So,
be careful.
Right? But Babano in the house with us. Babano, how fired up are you for the championship game tomorrow night?
Obviously, just like everybody else, I can't wait for it to get here. Why has this tournament been a success? Why has it been captivating? Because the players have made the physical investment. They've made the emotional investment into this tournament. The competitiveness of this tournament, really all four teams, even the teams that got knocked out early, Sweden and Finland. The competitiveness of these teams has been off the charts. There's been hitting. There's been viciousness. There's been intensity in every single game. And I think it's been a benefit to the quality of this tournament, you guys, that it's been NHL rules, that you're not getting these ticky-tack 2-minute penalties for just an ordinary body check like you will see at the Winter Olympics next year when it's IIHF officiating rules. And I think that could maybe hinder that tournament as far as quality is concerned. But no, this tournament's been great. Players have bought in, and that's why it's been just awesome hockey to watch.
No, it's a great point, Babano, because people, like after the first 9 seconds of the 3 fights the other night, which it was cool, was on a Saturday night, so everyone could enjoy themselves. Like, these games should be on Saturdays. Like, I'm not saying they should have waited till Saturday now, but they should have set it up. I thought it was strange when I saw the format. I was like, no, it should end on a weekend, guys. Like, you know what I mean? It should end on a weekend. Like started on the weekend and ended on the damn weekend. It's not rocket science here. Started on the Friday like you did and then whatever, but they started on the Wednesday till Thursday. I didn't understand why they just didn't wrap it up on the weekend, but it's a good point about it. Like, there's not going to be any fights in the Olympics. There are no fights in Olympic hockey. Like, you'll get kicked out and stuff. Like, it's the Olympics. It's all about friendly, you know what I mean? Like, sportsmanship and stuff. You can't start punching people in the face at the Olympics. Right.
That's
Like, you're going to get kicked out. Like, the international, like, they'll be like, no, you're suspended because
a guy upside the head. The Olympic committee.
Yeah. Right. No, it's the Olympics. And, like, great point that you raised, too. It's not NHL referees.
Yeah.
Right? There might be a few NHL referees in it, but it's a pool. Right? The NHL will push to get their referees when they do the game, like in a big game and the gold medal and stuff. But like you said, bro, it's the way it works. It's going to be some referee for the Czech Republic or something that hates Canada and America the way they play. And hey, that's too rough. That's tripping. Right? Like, it changes things. They see the game differently. So it'll be different style hockey for sure. It'll be intense next year with the gold medal on the line, though. And you're going to have more countries involved. Yeah. It'll be different than this. But this is just lightning in a bottle that they've got right now. So I'll ask you now, Babano, before we get your pick for the game, about the over-under of this game. 5.5. Do you believe it's a higher or lower scoring hockey game?
We've started to see some defense in some of these games. We saw the first Canada-U.S. game stay under the total. We saw USA versus Sweden also stay under the total on Monday night, that final game.
Hell, Canada and Finland was about to stay under the number if Finland doesn't score a bunch of empty net goals at the end of the game.
Yeah, pull the goalie down 4-1, and that's when they exploded for the 2 goals with the extra attacker, and it could have went over the total as well. And that's what actually forced it over the total. But when I look at this game, Gabe, I'm not going to overcomplicate it. I think the 5.5 is tough. I think it could go either way. I'm going to stick to what's been working. Every game in this tournament, every single one, we're talking now 6-0. First period overs have hit. And I've been on pretty much every single one of them. It's been one of these tournaments where there's so much adrenaline and there's so much energy early in the game from both teams that there's pace and there's mistakes with the puck and there's defensive breakdowns. And we've seen goals early, but then things kind of tighten up as the game goes on, and things get a little bit more intense and more focus is paid defensively. So the first period overs continue to hit. Every game in this tournament, the first period over is cashed. That's what I'm going with. What I would do is probably bet a first period over and maybe hit a live under if this game starts high scoring, like so many of these games in this tournament have. And then they've kind of,
the last
it's
time
kind
they
of
played.
slowed down after that.
We were all on you and Gabe were on the over 1.5, and then I see a 7.5 pop up, bang. Then you hit it to the under, and USA wins 3-1. I think that's a great strategy, Badano.
The only difference is you're right. It's been 6-0 to the over, and it's always been the same theme too. Somebody scores super fast into the game, and then the other team scores like 5 minutes later.
Goal in first 10 minutes. Goal in first 10 minutes is cashed in every game in this tournament
there's
as
been
well.
2 goals in the first 10 minutes. There's been 2 goals in the first 10 minutes. There's been, like you said, and then suddenly things tighten up, right? I have my reservations about it tomorrow. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if it was like 1-0 after the first period tomorrow or 0-0. I personally think this game is going under tomorrow. I think goals are going to be very difficult to come by.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The 2 guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
This is SportsRage. I'm Morency, the Pistol Players, the Hustlers, the people who bust them, everybody else in between. Charlotte have come all the way back. They've taken a 66-65 lead on the Lakers. They're now getting 4.5. The total. Paul was on the under 232. It's 194.5 right now. It's really low scoring, 66-65. Boise State have started to pull away from New Mexico, 66-53. right now. In-game total is 160.5. There's 9 minutes left in the game. They're now laying 11.5 points. We got a close one in Seattle. Rutgers are up by 3 at the half, 42-39. Also high scoring. In-game total 159.5, 42-39 at the half. All right, so looking at the four nations right now, we'll get more golf picks. Cam can go over his golf picks once again. See if Urbano has anything for the Mexico Open. But looking at the four nations right now, it's a pick 'em minus 110 on both sides. Total 5.5. Under 5.5 is minus 130. I'm looking at the under here, guys. This is, and I want to look at get the prop up here right now for goalie saves. Now, they don't have it up right now. It's going to be really hard. All right, here we go. Let's see. So you got shots on goal. I like to see the team shots on goal. To me, I think it's going to be really hard tomorrow to get shots on goal. This is going to be block shot freaking central tomorrow, man. I think especially Canada, guys. Like the U.S. have been good at the U.S. haven't had a lot of sustained pressure in this tournament. They've been good at just sort of bearing their chances and getting flicking the puck at the net. I think Canada are confident in Binnington, but at the same point in time, it's that classic, Cam. It's like when the backup goalie plays. It's like, you know what? I remember once when I was a kid, I got called up I was 13. I got called up and I played against 17-year-olds because they didn't have a goalie. And the team told me, don't worry, kid, we got this. I think I faced 8 shots in the game. I got a shutout. You know what I mean? Look at Babano, the Zamboni driver won with the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yes.
Because Carolina was like, you know what? Yep. We got a Zamboni driver as our goalie for the next 2 periods. How do we do this? Don't let them get shots on goal. Just seriously block shots, get the freaking puck out of the zone, and make this life easier for the Zamboni driver, right? And they'll think the same way tomorrow, Babano, with Binnington, right? It'll be we trust them, but at the same point in time, I'm going to go Bobby Orr here and take a puck to the face if I have to. You don't think that Hagel will take a puck to the face in the slot, you know what I mean, to block a shot? He will. Cale Makar is going to do whatever. And don't forget, Makar didn't play on Saturday. And there's no excuses, but let's just be real. He's that good. The guy was on the ice for 8 minutes and 30 seconds a period in the last game. When you have Makar on the ice basically half the time, you're in good hands. Right? And I wouldn't be surprised to see Cooper even shorten the bench even more as the game goes on. And Makar's going to be on the ice all the time. I think he's going to be on the ice every second. He'll be on, off, on, off. I think he's going to be on the ice a lot. I just think shots on goal are going to be tough to come by. Like said last night, Canada wins 3-0. It's a little bold to call a shutout here, but I'm still leaning this way. I think Canada's going to win the game, and I think it is going to be a low-scoring sweat job that'll always be tense and tight, but I don't think it's a goal fest tomorrow, but I'm going under the number. Cam, you said you like the over. What's your pick for the game tomorrow, Cam?
I think it's going to be, I think 5.5 is a great number to hang because I think it's going to be 3-2 Canada with an empty netter to make it 4-2 and just go over the number. That's my exact final score. I think we should play a couple final scores, guys. Maybe we hit a number, Gabe. I'm not sure what your score is. For when you, I remember your joke. Did you go, shutout, 3-0 Canada? I think that was the best. What is that, 100-1? What was your joke before when you said that? You're going, yeah, give me 3-0. What's that pay? Remember?
Yeah, 3-0. No, I think 3-0 is legitimate. Yeah, I think though. Look, the last game they played was 3-1, so I think 3-1 is probably
3-1 good score.
Probably more ballpark figure. Canada to win 3-1 is 12-1. USA to win 3-1. That's the thing. They're going to have the same prices pretty much. Yeah. USA to win is also 12-1 at 3-1. My 3-0 score for Canada, 22-1. Plus 2,200. What's your final score, Babano, for this game tomorrow?
Final score, I will go with 4-3 Canada. 4-3 Canada.
Overtime or regulation?
That sails over the number.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, here's the thing, though.
Really wasn't a lot of confidence in your pick at all, but bad.
Seriously, that was a game show. That was a lot of dead air. Like he was really thinking
a lot in the NHL.
Considering you're one of the hosts of the hockey guys, you've talked about this game quite extensively. It's like you were caught off guard by asking for the prediction.
Final score.
I know. Well, I just said that. It's funny because I think of what the score could be, but an exact final score. You know, but 4-3 makes sense to me. Here's the thing with this: I know under could hit, and it did hit in the first meeting. When certainly in the NHL, I saw this: two teams facing each other twice in less than a week. It's crazy how many times if the first game went under, the second game went over, and vice versa. The first game would go over, the second game would stay under. If the two teams are facing each other twice in less than a week. It's happened a lot that way in the NHL. Doesn't mean it's going to happen this way tonight. It's something to keep in mind.
I think there's one secret weapon, too, that Canada has. That I think that the last couple of days is an advantage for Canada because of John Cooper. He's that good of a coach. He's that good of a motivator, but he's a great X and O coach as well.
Against Finland, point with McKinnon or McDavid rather, and look at how good it worked. Well, it worked. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, and I'm not taking anything away from Sullivan, but at the same point in time, McAvoy is out, and you got drama where the Boston Bruins think that the USA medical team are a bunch of morons and screwed it up with McAvoy. Yeah. Which, if you got turmoil like that behind the scenes, and you got other beat-up players right now on that team, right? Have they lost confidence in the U.S. medical staff, right? And like I said, that is a real story that's going on. Plus, it's in Boston. It's going to hurt when the McAvoy is out. All the Quinn Hughes stuff. Quinn Hughes is not going to be involved in this game tomorrow. I liked how the U.S. too used a little clause out. Well, there is an illness going around, though, right?
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Here's an interesting prop. Will the team that scores first win the game? Yes is minus 275. No is plus 200. Not a bad bet. Plus 200 just on either. You're getting either side. to come back after. But we were looking at the correct scores for this hockey game. 3-2. 3-2 feels like, that is a distinct possibility in this hockey game. It doesn't pay all that much, the 3-2. It's sort of somewhat expected. 6-1 Canada to win 3-2. It's interesting, isn't it, though? The game is a pick'em, yet all these final scores, Canada pays a little less. Like Canada pays 3-2. Canada pays plus 600. USA pays plus 750. But the game is minus 110 on both sides. Canada to win. My score 3-0. I got to get a piece of this now that I've called it, and I'll get a piece of 3-1. So 3-0 is 22-1. 3-1 Canada is 12-1. But I believe in Jordan Binnington tomorrow. I think the combination of Canada freaking completely selling out in front of him and him, I say he doesn't give up the bad goal. I'm not saying, pitching a shutout is extreme, but I've got confidence in Binnington tomorrow. Cam, you said you got props. What's your prop or goal score for tomorrow?
I don't like too many, Gabe, but honestly, if you're going to take props at plus money, Jake Gensel is the only guy in the States, 3+ shots. So 3 wins, it's plus 120. I like that. And I think, obviously, I went with McDavid first goal and both times. He's hit it twice. Let's make it 3 in a row. It's an incredible price, too. You talked about the value of these things. And I also like Nathan McKinnon, 3+ shots. I'm not going to play everybody because I'm kind of with you, Gabe. A lot of shots are going to be blocked. But Gensel, all he does is fire the puck. McKinnon, I think he's going to be a guy that fires the puck a lot, too. And first goal, give it to Connor McDavid. He guy wants to take over the game. Let's go. Those are some props for the game. 4-2 final, Canada.
Here's I'm going to take a shot with this one, another 22-1 shot, actually. Cale Makar to score the first goal of the game, 22-1. Canada gets an early power play. He's going to be aggressive. That's the thing about it. Canada, the whole thing with Hellebuck, Biron was talking about it the other night, that the closer you get to Hellebuck, the harder it is to score on him. Canada, you know what I mean? You can score a free goal and stuff, but this little, they realize they want to get more shots in from the point. They want more chaos in front of them, right? Low shots. He's a tall dude, low shots from the point through traffic. And they're going to encourage Makar to blast away, right? They need him. They missed that. They don't have that offensive firepower. They didn't have that firepower from the point when he wasn't there, and you could see it. Right, I thought the defensemen were fine without him, but there was no extra level offensively at all. But what's a goal score prop you got for us tomorrow, Ben? What are you looking at?
Goal score prop because of the passing of Mike Lang for the Pittsburgh Penguins, the legendary scratch my back with a hacksaw, slap me silly Sidney. I mean, my goodness, what a colorful, terrific play-by-play voice for the Penguins. Sidney Crosby tomorrow night to find the back of the net for Canada at plus 350. But my favorite player prop in that game, this has been money in this tournament. That's actually for the U.S. Zach Werenski, anytime assist, plus 150. He has been in on so much of their offense, so much of their goal scoring. He's leading them in points, and they're all assists in this tournament for Zach Werenski. He's played great. He's had an incredible NHL season with Columbus, plus 150.
To record a point. Yeah, you get him just to, a point or more. But like you said, he's leading. He's got 5 points. 5 points in 5 assists in the tournament. Yep. We'll see if there's sort of that freak goal score. You know what? And speaking of which, where is he here? How much does it pay? He's got to pay pretty good. Here he is. It's 5-1. Brad Marchand, 5-1 to score on his home ice tomorrow. Could see him, he's played well, actually. I can see him banging one in. They know this, too. Somebody's got to step up. It can't just be Crosby, McDavid, or McKinnon that score, right? Somebody's got to step up. And, listen, Stone did, and Point, but I'm talking about another line, so to speak. And if Cam's Mitch Marner from the Leafs could make an appearance, it'd be nice.
That's wishful thinking. No.
Well, he scored the winning goal, but that's all he's done. We'll give him credit for it. I mean, if he didn't score that, seemed like it was a little bit deflected or whatnot. But Marner's got to step up tomorrow. That line, to me, that line as a whole, that third line, Canada really needs a little bit more from them. All right. Enjoy the game, everybody. We'll be posting our picks tomorrow, and we're going to be live for the third period at 4 tomorrow. So, yeah. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.